we are in Madison, and how perfect is this? After the news yesterday, we reacted to live with all of you that Luke Fickell is extended into the 2026 season. Chris McIntosh, the man who made that decision, joined Wilde Tausch at around 9:15 this morning. And I'm going to be completely honest, Kyle. I made it way longer than I thought I was going to.
Oh, okay.
But I did have to turn it off. Not because Jason or Tausch did anything wrong, and not even that Jesse did anything wrong.
I thought Jason asked some good questions.
I thought everything that they presented gave an opportunity to make me listen to the athletic director with the vision and walk away inspired. And sure, it would have took a lot for me to change my mind with where I was at, but there's part of you that is still a fan that wants to see the program that you love and root for be successful, but damn, it was hard.
Yeah, I got through about 10 minutes of it, and I was like, you know what, this guy is just, all he is talking in circles, and he's not actually saying anything.
It's word salad. Yeah, it's gaslighting, and it's full of crap.
No, he's not saying anything, but he's just extremely disappointing. For him to sit up there and give responses talking about the direction of this program and focusing on 2026, he really didn't say anything. It really, for me, it basically is like, hey, this program, it is what it is. We're going to give it another shot and give it another chance. And what I wish would have been asked is, I mean, it's tough because people are human. If we have another season like this season next year, will Luke Fickell still have another chance, or will you be gone? Because he's been talking about turning the corner, or he feels good about this program for now a couple of years.
Well, let's hear from the source. I mean, we might as well hear what he had to say. And as professionals that we are, Kyle, it's going to be hard for us after we just talked about how it was hard to listen to. But it is important that people hear what he has to say. Him being Chris McIntosh on Wilde Tausch, as this is Kyle Brust Ortman across ESPN Wisconsin. You can get us on the Carbless Talk and Text line, 800-990-3776. We're on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee and at ESPN Madison. But we do need to let him speak to the audience so they can hear for themselves, just in case they did not hear it early on Wilde Tausch. But we will be reacting. And let's start with something that happened yesterday. This stood out, and I could not stop thinking about the fact that this was uttered out of Chris McIntosh's mouth about what success looks like.
Oh, yeah, I remember this one.
It's not limited to wins and losses.
It's not limited to wins and losses about success. So I was mad. I was heated. I was so heated, I made sure the first thing I did when I got off with you at 5 o'clock was I quote tweeted where that was on social media, and I said, everybody needs to watch this.
Why do you say was? Was there something that you heard today that makes you not even stay mad?
Well, I told you I woke up and I thought it was a dream, and then I realized I'm living in reality in which all of the stuff that I was mad about yesterday.
The answer only got worse, Ben.
So Jason Wilde, Mark Tauscher, and again, they did wonderful. And I'm not just saying that because they're teammates. They literally, in a spot where it's tough to have, they gave him an opportunity to give answers to anyone who roots for Badger football to make them feel confident. This was his response to Jason's question about it being not limited to wins and losses.
I'm happy to clarify. I mean, make no bones about it. I mean, the goal is to win, and the goal is to be competitive in the Big Ten, and the goal is to be competitive in the Big Ten in 2026. I mean, there's no getting around it. The conversation that I was having with Jesse was a long conversation, and those 7 words may not align perfectly with the point or the direction of the conversation we're having, but the goal is to win. It always has been to win, and we've not shied away from those expectations that we embrace, that our fans embrace. Those expectations that Tausch and I were a part of creating a long time ago. I mean, that's what we're here to do. That's what our goal is. That's what our objective is. And so I'm glad that you gave me the opportunity to clarify that, because I don't want it to come across that.
He ain't clarified. Bleep.
That was the part where he said thank you at first, and then when he said this, I'm not gonna lie to you. This was earlier in the interview, and this is probably the second or third
question, I think.
And this is where I legitimately was ready to turn it off. I was ready to turn it off because I know for a fact he did not just say, thank you for letting me clarify. And you didn't say anything about what win. You said, obviously, we want to win in the Big Ten, but you didn't put anything on it. You didn't say, you know what, this year was not good enough. Next year, the expectation is this team does more to compete, that we're competing for a Big Ten championship, and we're going to do everything we can to do that. No, all he did was say, well, it's just things that we could build around it. No, be straight and direct about it. What is your expectation with this program? From what he said in this little clip here, it ain't about winning football games. It's about the fact that he is just attached on the hip to Luke Fickell.
It's survival at this point.
That's exactly
because you
what
can hear it in his voice. I was, after watching the interview with Jesse Temple with Badger Connect and hearing Chris McIntosh on Wilde Tausch, like, does he not? He has to know the disgust that fans feel about the product on the field.
He doesn't care.
And it's like, all I'm asking for is, I know he is the athletic director, and I know I'm overly emotional, but how about some emotion? What we put on the product for our fans these last 3 years has not been good enough. It just hasn't. And end of story. And I am fully committed with everything I talked about in the letter that I sent out, in talking yesterday with Jesse, that this is – I take back those 7 words because that's garbage. It is about winning. And it is about winning to make sure that this university thrives, this football program thrives, the coach thrives. We all thrive. You can say that we're all in this together, but can you say it where I believe you? No. Everything he says makes me just fall asleep.
Yeah.
I could play that music I could play this sound clip, the whole interview, only when Chris McIntosh talks. My daughter would sleep amazing to the tone of his voice and the excitement that he has for the football program. And then he's also talking to us it's about winning in 2026. What the hell the last 3 years been, huh? We're just supposed to sweep the last 3 years under the rug,
it's about
and it's all going to get better after this regime is taken into the ground?
No, he understands that. And what makes me the most mad is
How do you call in 800-990-3776, the Car Brust Talking text line?
When he hired Luke Fickell, he said there was a monumentous moment for this program, and he was excited about the present and the future of the program. That was in 2022. We are now almost 3 years into Luke Fickell being named the head coach of the Wisconsin Badgers. And I'm going to tell you this right now. It has been a complete disaster. And when he sat up there and said he was looking forward to the bright future for the Wisconsin Badger program, he can see that this program has been awful to this point. So even if he goes back to evaluate what his expectations were, it could not have been a 7-6 season the first year that he was a head coach. It could not have been a 5-7 the second season he was head coach. And it could not be staring down potentially not winning a single Big Ten game in the third year of Luke Fickell. Most coaches get 3 years. 3 years to build a program.
And that was in the olden days when it took forever to turn a program around. You got Vanderbilt. You got the Georgia Techs. You got the Indianas.
You got the
that
Virginias.
are light years ahead.
You
go around the country for countless examples, and we're sitting here accepting crap.
No, beyond crap, we're sitting here accepting the regression of a program. That is the biggest point. If anything, if the Wisconsin Badgers were still 6-6, 7-6, right? If we were still at that 500 mark, we would just be talking about, okay, when are we going to get over the hump? Now we're trying to talk about when are we going to be competitive again?
When are they going to get to a hump?
Exactly. And that is the biggest problem that we as Badger fans should have, is that this program has done more than regress. It has absolutely bottomed out. We thought last year was bad, and coming into this season, we said, oh, they may not win a Big Ten game. When we looked at the schedule, we said, I don't know how many wins there. We all were thinking it, but we didn't think it was really going to happen. We didn't really think we were going to get this far into the season where there's 4 football games left, and the Wisconsin Badgers program may actually not win a single game this season. And all Matt can get up there and talk about 2026 and talk in circles and not actually give us a true vision. Talk about this money that's going to come out of nowhere, but he can't really explain exactly how this infusion of cash is going to boost up this program, and he's talking about the same money other universities are getting.
Yeah, we'll get to so a couple things here. Adam, I see you on the Car Brust Talking text line. Can you guys play the entire interview again? We're going to play chunks that we think are the best for all of you to take in right now. If you want to listen to the whole interview, you can go to the ESPN Wisconsin app. You can go to YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee and at ESPN Madison. In the first portion of the Wilde Tausch show on YouTube and on ESPN Wisconsin's app, we're going to play everything that we deem important for you to hear, which is a lot of it, because there's a lot of different chunks that all play into the way we are here. Kyle, I walk into this Echo Tap Bar and Grill, and I have core memories of happiness. And even though there are heartbreak, I will take heartbreak in a Big Ten championship. Sitting here in 2019, when the Badgers were up 21-7 against Ohio State in the Big Ten championship at half.
Yeah.
2017, being on the sideline in Indianapolis, watching them have a chance to go 13-0 and make their way to the college football playoff. To now, dead inside, hopeless, and having a bunch of malarkey thrown at me day after day after day, and I want to get to the fans because right away we will go to the Carbless Talk and text line. We have Scott in Fort Worth, Texas. Scott, how are you?
Got him mad in Texas.
Hi, how are you guys? Can you hear me?
Good. How are you, Scott?
I'm doing
Well, I mean, like
okay.
I'm good, but I'm not good. You know what it is.
Yeah. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, I thought you guys kind of hit it perfectly. I listened to most of the interview except for maybe Wilde's last question. And shout out to Wilde. I thought the interview was really good. I thought he did a good job kind of towing the line between asking hard questions versus trying to not, start it into a rage bait or something like that. But I'm with Ben. And Ben, I love your passion, brother. Golly, that's what we need. But I was a snooze fest. And a lot of the things that he was saying I thought was word salad. And he didn't really answer the questions as far as what did you mean by not limited to wins and losses. I got nothing out of the interview except political correctness from an athletic director. So I just don't get it. And then some of the things that have been bothering me from what I've been hearing out of the university is we're going to allocate all the resources we can to the NIL next season. But as a fan, I'm like, well, what have you been doing for the last 3 years then? Have you been just kind of putting in a kind of like a half-assed effort? Or what have you been doing? Because shouldn't your goal every year to be allocating every resource that you can to make sure you're putting the best product on the field, especially in today's NIL, where it's almost pay to win? But I'm just like looking at the athletic department, like, well, why would you openly admit that or say something like that if you were already giving your all to what you can do? So I don't know where
Scott,
McIntosh
doesn't it
is
feel
at.
like a tone-deaf statement when you're saying you're going to invest more into the program after it's fallen off a cliff? It's crazy.
Exactly. And I thought the last couple of days have been absolutely tone-deaf. I don't know what they expect. Do they really expect the fans to want to come out and just watch more of the same? He's not going to fix the program in 1 year. I mean, I wish that he would. I hope that he can. But I guarantee you my Saturdays are free next year. I'll pay attention. Yeah. I'll pay attention for the next 4 weeks. Do I expect anything? No. I told the call-in show on Saturdays, 8 weeks ago, team's not going to win another game. And so far they're making me out to be, a profit. And I hate that.
And I know you don't want to be right, and I didn't want to be right about that either, but that's what we're staring at us right now, and I appreciate the call on the Carbless Talk and text line.
There's just so much to talk about, and the thing that bothers me so much is we keep talking about this financial support, and Chris McIntosh has been talking about since we hired Luke Fickell about invested in coaching, right? Being able to have a bigger pool of money to be able to get better assistant coaches, right? And now you done fired the offensive coordinator, and it look like the offensive coordinator you brought in still ain't good enough. Talking about investing in resources, right? We've been being sold this dream for multiple years, and nothing is coming through. So he thinks we're stupid.
It feels like that. That's why I'm so angry. And I'm angry for anyone who cares about the Wisconsin Badgers because you nailed it, Kyle. When you listen, I feel like I'm being talked down to like I'm a little child.
No, he acts like we're dumb and we're stupid. He acts like we're not fans of this program, that we don't love this program. Stop talking about this investment year after year after the investment in a field. Because remember, they changed up the football field. They changed up the turf because they wanted to make sure they could host a college football playoff game because you need to have heated turf. What a waste of money that happened to be. Nobody cares about the new facilities you're going to bring. Nobody's going to give a dang about that if you cannot put a winning product on the field. And the disrespectful thing to me is that he sat up there and he said, the reason why I came out and said this now is because I wanted the players to know that Luke Fickell is still going to be their coach. I wanted the people to know that, to reassure them that he was still going to be the coach. Dude, you didn't give a damn about that a couple years ago when you had the players on Friday night be told by Jim Leonard that he wasn't going to be back, so they had to go play their last game knowing Jim Leonard wasn't going to be their coach.
But they're doing it for the school that's won 2 games this year and none in the Big Ten.
Exactly. And so don't give me that you care about these players. Don't give me that you focused on trying to make sure that they understand that. If anything, if you did right by the players, you would tell the players, just like you all get evaluated all the time. I'm going to wait to the end of the year to make this evaluation. I cannot guarantee it. If you think this is going to keep recruits, you're absolutely wrong. It's not going to keep recruits around. You're not going to get recruits to stay simply because people want to win football games. This is a losing football program, and Chris McIntosh right now is a losing leader when it comes to the football program. I don't care how good volleyball is. I don't care how good men's and women's hockey is. I don't care how good softball has done or soccer has done. It matters how you do in football and basketball. Basketball turned it around, but football, if you ain't doing good at that at University of Wisconsin-Madison, you got to go as well. So I hope Chris McIntosh understands he is stamping his name next to a loser on the field in Luke Fickell. There is no way that this football team turns it around next year. Because my goal is this. If you don't win 8 games next year, you got to go. Because that ain't good enough. It ain't good enough.
Especially when he just talked about how, like, he used the example in 2026, you can turn it around quickly. Well, then show me at this point.
It's not going to happen. There's so much I could talk about. We have so much time to talk about all the excuses.
Let's hear from the Badger alum. Brad Nortman, who is not with us. He's
gallivanting.
But he's taking time out in an airport because he is so mad because he wants to talk about what is going on in this program, what he heard from Chris McIntosh, that Brad Nortman will be joining us next. And we know he made wavelengths with Tim Brando on the broadcast the other day as they lost
Oregon game.
Oregon.
Yeah, talk about
what do those podcasters know? Well, we're going to find out what this host of a show that's on YouTube and live and podcast and all the above has to say.
Oh, my gosh. Chris McIntosh even acknowledged what Brad said was true. Stop it.
Yes, that we need to do a better job. I know. We got a lot to get to. Brad Nortman joins us next. It's Kyle Brust Ortman.
This is Kyle Brust Ortman.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're 92. It's,
Yeah.
I thought it was 93. You said 93. Almost 93. When's his birthday? May. It's July.